Welcome back to Man the Helm podcast. Today I am joined by Ariel Posen. How's it going, dude?
Good, man. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. We met about a year ago almost up at the Woodshed in Crossville.
Can't believe it's already been a year,
I know,
almost.
right?
September,
Yeah,
yeah. Are you going again?
I am going again. Yeah, I had to go to get with Dan Huff to say the very least, and along with all the other people that are going to be there. But for sure, I wanted to get there and get to kind of absorb some of that knowledge as best I can.
Yeah, that's a stacked lineup this year.
Well, it always is, man, and it's I think it's got to be a cool sense to get invited to something like that. I mean, I know you've done a lot of cool stuff in your career so far, but that's one of those like I don't know, man. It's like such a good lineup every year.
Yeah, kudos to Andy and the gang.
Yeah.
They, they're doing a good thing over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a blast. That was so much fun.
Yeah, and one of the things and one of the reasons I wanted to get you on is I'm trying to focus on players a lot. You know, I do love gear. I think every guitar player loves gear to a certain extent, but having people like yourself that have just are unabashedly themselves, have such a unique sound, like that's really what drives me towards liking particular artists. You know what I mean? It's not just a cookie cutter like this is what we do. It's no, this is what I do and this is what I'm gonna, create. And that's sort of the idea that I've tried to relay to friends and other people that are trying to make their mark. You know, Andy has a good phrase of saying like, "What's your statement on the guitar?" And I think that's one of the best questions you can ask yourself as an artist.
I think it goes for any kind of form of art,
For sure, for
What
sure,
makes you what makes you authentic? What makes you you
for
know?
sure. Well, and you had a really interesting upbringing from my understanding of being able to travel around with your parents and them playing in bands. So it's kind of one of those things you were kind of always exposed to, correct?
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Music always in and around the house.
yeah.
In all forms for sure.
Well, and when we talk about like finding your voice and doing things like that, like it usually isn't just like a finger snap and next thing you know we have our sound and we have our playing style and stuff like that. It usually takes years of cultivating you know what you like, digesting a lot of like music and really honing your craft. So
Oh yeah.
can we maybe start? I don't want to get too embryonic because I'm sure people have heard the story of your upbringing and your where you are currently. But like what are some of the things that you do to kind of start to cultivate that sound that makes you you now, if that makes sense?
I think you can attribute it to a lot of things, and this goes for anybody. Um, Coming from a point in my life where I was like, okay, I'm gonna just like book my own shows for fun with a band that plays locally. I'm gonna book us. That was my first foray into like, hey, I'm just gonna play how I want to. I'm going to, play these cover songs that are self-indulgent, that are
Hmm.
songs and bands that I like. No one's coming to these shows. These are not even shows. These are gigs. These are
Right.
like, how can we make $70 each
Yeah.
on a Tuesday night? But it was like a chance to cut your teeth and like hone in on the things you wanted to do musically and like the stuff you were listening to. You could really dive into that and kind of have this anything goes mentality and just try stuff out. You're not playing for anybody. And what came from that, funny enough, was like the opposite, was gigs, was people coming and saying, the band sucks, but like, hey, there's some, they didn't say that, but like, they're like, we need a guitar player actually, and you sound great, blah, blah, blah. Can you do this showcase for this artist? She's got a label rep coming from Sony in 2 months, and I need to put a band together because we're going to do a gig every Tuesday at this place. And then it just started this whirlwind of like being a sideman, hired gun for, 12 years or so, which is kind of the opposite. It's fitting into someone else's canvas, someone else's existing, thing.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
while you want to put your own stamp on it and be unique and have something about you that, for lack of a better term, will keep getting you hired and like will want most of it is like, are you a good hang? Are you a nice person? Are you professional? Are you showing up and doing the work? But musically, so much of it is like, hey, that's cool what you're doing, but like, can you just play the solo from the record, or can you play that part in the chorus from the record? Like that becomes a skill, and
Hmm.
as a hired gun, you start taking ownership over these things that can can be cut at any second because you're like kind of disposable. And uh, this then led me to becoming a solo artist, and which at the same time, I had started prioritizing not necessarily being an artist, but I started focusing my profile, if you will,
Hmm.
online.
Yeah.
I stopped showing like it was less stupid photos on tour of like coffees and people doing funny things and like silly shit, and more just like music,
Yeah.
guitar,
Hmm.
gear only, and it kind of helped me build a profile, and that led to more exposure and opportunities. And naturally, at the same time, I was in a position where I started writing again for myself. I'd always been writing, and yeah, this solo thing just kind of started, and that's back to the very beginning of like, okay, I'm not necessarily fitting into someone else's vision or canvas, which again, I love doing that. I loved, and I've still done the odd side quest here or there, but I can literally play exactly what I want to play, how I want to play, and like I'm playing my own music. This is crazy. So once it's not about ego, it's not about needing the attention. It's about full formed expression and
Right.
like getting to truly be this version of yourself that you're not acting, you're not like pretending, you're not like doing this gig that you don't really love the music, you're not doing this thing because of that. You're literally, it's not what you're doing, it's who you are. And it's like a pretty special feeling. And I know I'm rambling here a lot, but
Oh, we're here for the rambling, man.
the
We're podcasting.
yeah, the idea of finding your voice, I think it's a such a nuanced thing where like I think I know I've found my voice. I have a voice. I have people who have come up and said, "Hey, I was scrolling and I heard this video and I just knew it was you immediately," or like I was walking down the street and I could hear music coming out of a club and I was like, "Oh my God, is that Ariel?" And I went in and bought a ticket and it was you. I've heard stuff like that, which is like such an honor and that's amazing. But having a voice, uh, it evolves. It doesn't just like, oh, you have your thing and that's what you always do. Some people just stay and like they don't look to like change. But I'm a creature that, or what am I trying to say here? Yeah, some people are like a creature of habit, and I'm like the opposite. I definitely have my thing that's me and what I do, but I'm also always evolving. Like
Hmm.
every record I've put out, I kind of, I'm listening to different stuff all the time. I get inspired by new things, and these things inform your artistry, and these things inform your voice. And I think that's an important part of the and this goes for like most artists
Yes.
and musicians. You have to evolve. If you don't evolve, you're not pushing yourself, and even like on like kind of a more boring level of just playing an instrument or singing, like if you like stop practicing or look seeking out new things, you're just going to kind of fall into this rut. It's the same thing being an artist and having a voice and whatever. Um, but I think it took me a long time at this, like at the same as quickly to some as it may feel like, oh, he's had this thing already. I feel like it also took me quite a while just to find my voice in the sense that you have to like shake off this idea of like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not having to play for the situation or for the band or for the artist, like of what they're wanting. Like, this is who is Ariel? Like, who
Hmm.
are you? That's what you have to do. Like, and when you stop comparing or thinking about what people want to hear, or people are thinking like what you should be playing, and then just start playing and going for what's deep in here and here, that's when you start to lock into it. And I think we all have that, but so many of us, it's hard to really tap into it because most people are like, okay, well, I don't sound like all these other people when I do my thing. So that must mean it sucks.
Right.
And I don't do this like other people do it. So I must be doing it wrong. Where no, that's literally what it is. That's what literally makes you stand out, gives you identity.
Yeah.
No, it's important to lock into those things. Sure, some of the things you might do might not be a strength. It might be worse than what other people were doing. And I'm not talking at a level of like skill level or like
Yeah, not
you could
technical
tighten this up, or
proficiency.
I just
Right.
mean like the overall. There is no good or bad thing. It's just like who you are. Just like do what you do in the way you do, but like do it well.
Yeah.
Do it 100%. Um, yeah.
Well, and I like what you said too, because there's a lot of to go back just a little bit from what you were saying, even from like doing the sideman thing of just being like a cool person, a cool hang, showing up on time, being professional. Like when you're in that sort of environment, and even in like a solo artist environment, like that skill as a human being is so important because you're gonna cultivate relationships that are gonna start to flourish in other places just by doing those three little things.
I mean, most of the relationships aren't gonna have anything to do with your playing
No, no,
or your musicality or your skill. None of it,
yeah,
to be honest. It's the hang. It's
yeah,
what everyone will always say. That's what
and
gets you gigs, really.
yeah. I mean, your playing might get your foot in the door or get you noticed to a certain extent, but it's not
Yeah.
going to be like you said, it's not going to be the one all be all that's going to get you a sustaining career in this sort of environment.
You never know. I mean, everything's a little different for everyone, but
Sure.
I know from experience, um, 9 out of 10 times, the person that may not be the best musician, but is an absolute gem of a human being and great to have around and has a great attitude, that's the person that's going to get it over the absolute shredding monster skill, like high Navy SEAL level musician, but is like a robot when it
Right.
comes to being a person, or like kind of a dick, you know? It
Yeah.
just That's just how it goes.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I truly appreciated about events such as the Woodshed, where the variety of techniques, skills, uh, playing styles, stuff like that, but everybody has that same exact mindset of what you just talked about. Like everybody at that level has that mindset of this is what I do, this is what I like to do, this is what I'm going to do, this is me, unabashedly. You
Yeah,
know,
it
there's
becomes it's bigger than that. It's not even what I like to what they like to do, or it's literally there's no other option, you
yeah,
know?
yep, yeah, yeah,
You get what you get. This
yeah,
is who we are.
yeah.
And
Well,
that's the fun of it for sure.
yeah, and it's good when you start to talk to people about this, and that's why I like having people like yourself on, as we talk about these ideas, and everybody has their different avenue of how they've got to where they are, but ultimately it's the same core tenets that sort of apply for everybody. I mean, like you said, it's not the same for everybody, but the main bulk of the idea of just being yourself, putting out what you do, that is what enables a career in this industry.
Hey, everyone's got a different path for sure, and some people will make it work like doing something else, doing finding a way to like change the system, but I think the core theme that you will see across almost every artist, not doesn't matter what instrument you play, whether you're a singer or not, if you're just an artist, is the drive and the commitment to being authentic and being genuine and like being honest about whatever it is you're doing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
People can just tell when something's not sincere
Hmm.
in the music, and it's easy to avoid that by just not by pushing out like what you think you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, and prime example for me personally, when I saw, every night when you guys would play, concerts at the Woodshed, like it was a completely different experience seeing you live, and so much more of an emotional experience of seeing how much like you're giving your all into every single performance, and not saying
Yeah.
that you don't when I see you online, but it's hard to get that through a phone or a
Yeah, it's
computer.
different.
Yeah.
I'm a performer. I
Yeah.
truly am like that's You know, we had a couple years there, pandemic, where we couldn't do it,
Right.
and I kind of came to terms with like, you know what, this is the new landscape of how it is. I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know, at first I missed it. I missed my band. I missed all my friends, and I was like, and then I was like, you know what? I think I'm okay with this. I'm like adapting to this, and then that first tour, not even the first tour, but like not even the first show, like that first night where I like my band flew in and you know we were gonna leave the next morning. It was just like the hang was there. I was like, oh my god,
We're
this.
back.
And then like
Right.
of course the first show, and I jumped in. It was like, how could I even think for a second that I was fine without this? This is literally who I am.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
spent my whole life on a stage performing. That's where I feel peace. That's where I feel like joy. That's where, you know, and you're right. Like it's one thing playing music for yourself at home, especially on like on a video for that's not, that's just, that's just promotion. And that's
Yeah.
just like sharing little fun clips, right? That's not really performing.
No.
Um, Feeling something, a synergy from like an audience and a room that's bigger than the room in your house. It's a special thing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about, at least for me.
Well, for sure. And I mean, there are things that happen on stage when you're not expecting them to, and you have this overwhelming rush of like where everybody just locks into certain parts, and then you always get that look you'll see across the stage. You'll look at one of your bandmates or whatever, and it's just like, oh man, this is what it's all about. Like this 30 seconds right here where we just killed it. And then you have those like multiple times throughout the set or through the night or whatever, you know, that's what it is. And the culture that I have kind of cultivated in what I see from online is I don't have the opportunity to go see a lot of live performances anymore. And so I got kind of a little bit, I don't, I think jaded might be the wrong word, but it might be the right word, of just watching too much like social media content, guitar based content, gear based content. And then the times that I get to go there, I'm like, dude, this is like you said, I like how you said that. It's just promotion. That's just showing like, hey, this is what I do. Come check me out. This is what I do.
Think about when you were a kid getting into music or guitar. How did you see, other than like watching TV? Again, yeah, let's include like what was your intake musically? Like what did you do?
Usually I was watching MTV, and I think it was,
Exactly.
yep,
Or
VH1 or something like that.
okay, but like what would you listen to?
Oh, it was mostly I remember what got me my MTV moment was The Darkness.
I just mean like you were listening to records
Records.
and you were
Yes,
watching
sorry.
music
Yeah.
videos and concerts
Yeah.
on TV and like
Yeah.
um I still kind of hold on to that.
Hmm.
I'm, you know, I'm a 90s kid too. I had music in my house and like a lot of musical people around me, but like I loved just sitting in my room listening to cassettes or CDs, whatever I could get my hands on. We had Much Music in Canada. We still have Much Music, but like it was like Canadian MTV.
Hmm.
So like, you know, endlessly watching music videos, listening to the radio, like listening to the radio, hoping you hear a spin of like that one song you love that like it
Right.
wasn't available on your phone at any time. It was a special time. So like, why not hold on to that? Like, why not remember why you like music? Like people wearing sweatpants playing their instrument in front of their phone on the internet is evolvement is how things evolve. But that's not necessary. And like in a way, it is a stage for sure. People, for some people, that is their stage. That is their form of performance, and that's totally fine. But if you're only taking that in and forgetting like the core reasons you love music and what you like about it, whether that be listening to an album or even going to see a concert, then it's just going to be confusing because you're going to, whether you realize it or not, there's like the subconscious thing in your head going like something's missing here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. And over the last couple of years, that's what I've been trying to do is seeing everybody I possibly can live because it's a, I guess religious might be a too much of an extent, but it is an emotional experience that you get to experience every time with the artist on stage and seeing these magical things happen.
Yeah, it should be
So,
if you connect to it that way, it should be a, you know, some people are not gonna. It's funny because usually musicians either love or hate going to see shows. I think a
right.
big reason is musicians that like perform a lot. Again, it's not an ego thing. It's not a, they think they can do it better. It's like they're used to being on stage. They'd rather be performing than like being in a sweaty crowd or something like that. But they will enjoy and appreciate um, the essence of live music and performance and
Yeah.
seeing people be their truest selves in the moment. Um, yeah, it's just the best, you know?
Yeah. Well, and one thing that I appreciated when I saw you, especially, was you kind of did a little bit of one of your classes when you were at Woodshed about like the actual gear you're using, and it's always subjective because if I have your guitars or if I have your rig or whatever, I'm not going to sound like you. I'm still going to sound like me playing your stuff. But it's always a good look to see like, okay, this is how Ariel does this. This is how he sets this. This is how he sets his guitars up. This is how he achieves that like amazing like slide tone that you've cultivated, and whatnot. And that rock slide that you have, dude, when I picked that up, that was like the slide that I found that I was like, wow, this one actually fits now. This makes more sense. This
Oh,
is
great.
not some oversized craziness that I don't know which finger to put. You know what I mean? Like I don't know where to put this. And now I'm just ripping the typical like go up to the 12th fret and just hit those blues licks like quick little slides up and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, great to hear it.
yeah. But speaking of gear, you've got a new guitar. We need to
Indeed.
talk about that guitar. So,
Yeah.
how did this process kind of how did this start? I guess would be the best way to put it.
It started a while ago. I've had a relationship with the Fender folks for a long time. And about 2.5 years ago, not about, literally 2.5 years ago, I was starting to experiment. I was just like wanted to put together like a cool Strat that, you know, wasn't like your typical Strat. I think I've always been a Strat guy,
Mm-hmm.
Strat style guy, but I've never fully connected with three single coil pickups. Like if you had to say what's your thing? It's that guitar, but not the three single coil
Okay.
pickups. It's a
Yeah.
great iconic sound, but I never felt like it was my sound. And whenever I'd like kick on the fourth position or like the neck pickup, I start transforming into my favorite players that are notorious with those sounds.
Yeah.
So I'd started experimenting. I got my hands on a couple like cheap Strats, and I was like, I want to start trying some different pickups. I know that I love, first of all, like the cupcake knobs on a guitar,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I love putting the pickup switch where the second tone knob is because I never use it anyways.
Okay. Yeah.
Similar also on my mules.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Yep.
it's set up. So trying some different pickups out, and I start trying some pickups out, and I'm telling uh, my friend at Fender about it, and I was like, what if maybe I want to invest in like doing like a custom shop version of this, like doing something really cool. Uh, we'll figure out the pickups, but I think I just want to maybe put some kind of order in. And he's like, why don't I do you one better? Why don't we do a signature? And I was like, how do you say no to that?
Well, I don't think you would. Yeah.
I've been, I've been offered, I'm so grateful. You know, I've been offered before to do a signature guitar, and most of the time, I just didn't get the feeling based on what was offered that it could be something so customizable that it was like truly something that was my vision.
Oh,
It was
sure.
usually
Okay.
like pick a color, any color of something existing, and we're good to go. And I was like, well, thank you. That's so nice of you to offer that, but it doesn't really feel signature at all.
Right.
So we started chatting about this, and you know, what do you want to do? And my favorite two Fenders I have is this 68 Custom Shop Strat,
Okay. Yep.
which the neck on that is like my favorite neck out of any Fender I own for some reason. That neck is just amazing.
What's the profile on it, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a U, it's like a 69 U
Okay. Okay.
profile.
Yeah.
I'm really bad with specific stats and specs,
It's all good.
FYI, but I'll do my best. It's like the 69 U neck, and even though it's a 68 custom shop. Anyways,
Right. Yeah.
that neck, when I got my Jazzmaster made, they put that exact same neck on it. Had, you know, because you can just pull up the serial number and go,
Mhm.
hey, what was it? And then I realized I really love my Jazzmaster. I really became a Jazzmaster guy. The pickups in that guitar and like the just the two pickup, volume, tone, simple kind of vibe
Right.
was amazing. Those were my two favorite guitars. But I never fully identified as a Jazzmaster guy. So I was like, what if we could combine these two guitars into one, kind of keeping it like a Strat, but enhancing it, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, this was like 2.5 years of like back and forth. So, yeah, you know, a lot of calls back and forth. How about this? How about that? What do you think of that? Oh, that could be cool. Let me see if that's even a possibility. They come back. That's a possibility. Okay, well, let's try, you know, doing that. And it basically just came up with this idea of a hybrid of the two guitars. The pickups we came up with ourselves. The aesthetic is based loosely on the Jazzmaster, but some elements of my Strat and other Strats that I really just love. The like the headstock, the darker kind of tint on the headstock, and yeah, it's a very simple guitar, but it's great. I'm biased as hell, of course,
Well, sure.
but
I,
it's like a tool, you know, and it does the thing that I needed to do and wanted to do, and very happy with it.
yeah, all the promotional content you guys have been putting out with it, I've really loved it, and it's one of those things. And I could be just misreading this, but it looks like when I see people that get something like that, and you've taken years to make this tool that you're going to use for you, you really start to kind of come into your own, and like really you can see it in the playing, and you can hear it, and you can like the vibes all there, you know what I
Mm.
mean? It it's one of those, when you pick it up, it's like you said before, it's like, well, we can do a custom color for you. It's like, well, cool, man, but it's still the same guitar, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
really me.
Mhm.
But seeing you play your new signature, that's what I really see from you.
Nice. That's the goal, right?
Right. Yeah. But
That's
it
the whole
also
point of it.
but it also is something that I could see being used in multiple different applications. So for you playing what you do, it is 100% exactly what you want. But for other people that would want to have a similar sound or a similar vibe, or the look of that guitar, it's not just a one trick pony either.
Oh no.
So
I don't
that,
think any I don't think any guitar is. I
well,
think you can
I would agree. The thing that I get to is like we get stuck into this, like kind of like what I was talking about with slide. This is what I do with slide, or if I put a compressor on, this is what I do with the compressor. Like
right.
we get stuck into that mindset of,
That's
well,
true.
this thing does this,
Yeah.
and it's not ever true. It just is a I think it's an unconscious bias when we see a piece of gear or a technique or something like that, or this is what it's used for, that we
Right.
have guitar players have. So whenever we sit and we look at different applications of gear or playing styles or something like that, like it's not a one all be all. And that's what I really liked about, like, I've always been kind of turned off to signature gear, except when it's extremely usable outside of its, I guess, quote unquote intended purpose.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that from you and Fender, that really focusing on not only what you want, but from a customer standpoint, if they wanted to, get their hands on it as well.
Right on. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it. You first and foremost, you know, when people start giving all their opinions and their critiques, or most of it's been really positive, so I'm like super grateful for that. But like, you know, once people start chiming in, you have to remember first and foremost, you've done this instrument for yourself, right?
Right.
And then uh yeah, of course you want other people to get the same out of it and enjoy it and like find use for it. I do think there's a lot of use for it. I think there's a lot of people who um, have identified with that setup as well,
Hmm.
um, and have always been stuck seeing it in a way where it looks like some kind of super strat, where like it's humbuckers, or like more looks like more of like a metal thing.
Yeah.
And this thing, again, I'm a little biased because I'm too deep in it, but like it is unique.
Yeah.
You look at it and it's like P90s, but like that neck pickup is a Jazzmaster pickup. The P90 is a pretty low wind, low output, so it's it's still a single coil guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks like it's got some muscle, but it's still a lot more dynamic than you think it is. And you know, little decisions in regards to it being like a working tool, like hardtailing it, and little things like the wiring. It was just like no nonsense. I wanted it more so like on like the hardtail, like you break a string on a floating guitar on a
Yeah.
gig and you're done.
Yeah.
So just to avoid those kind of situations. And again, I'm a very simple guy. I'm a set it and forget it guy. With an amp, I want to turn the amp on and it like kind of sounds great right away. I don't want to have to mess with it to find that sweet spot. With pedals, I don't want to like have to twist things all day to get it to sound. I just kind of want it to be there immediately. Uh, it's just not the reality of all things, but for a guitar, I want to make music on it. I want to just
Right.
like play songs and play music, and so like I don't want a million things in the way of getting it, you know? I just want to just play and like
Yeah.
let it inspire you. That's kind of the thought process behind it.
Yeah, and I mean, like I've heard you talk before, and I've seen you play, and the way that you use the guitar as your master volume, so to speak. That's one of the things that I've always appreciated
Mm,
about your playing is, like you said, it's kind of a set it and forget it, but you- you're you're using the instrument as it was intended to make music. You know, or I don't want to sit here and have to scroll through menus, and I don't want to have to turn a bunch of knobs, and I don't want to have to. The more time I take away from actually playing and writing or practicing or doing something musical with the instrument, it doesn't feel as fulfilling to me. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of players feel that sentiment as well, and they want to just be able to plug in and play.
for sure. I know there are a lot of players that love the chase of like
Sure,
setting up
absolutely.
MIDI and going through manuals, to each their own. Yeah, it's just not me.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of get to the. I have a friend who's like an amazing songwriter, amazing artist, and he just like doesn't do anything technical. He doesn't even know how to like record at home. You know, he probably just records on his iPhone.
Hmm.
Because he once said it in a way that was so great, like, and I've kind of taken this on for myself, is like the goal is to do the. This sounds super basic. You want to do the thing. The thing is like
The
writing a
thing.
song or
Yep.
performing. If you have to fight through the things to make it possible for you to do the thing, then like, and if it's giving you issues, then it's going to take away from like the creative process of actually doing the thing you're supposed to be doing. So fuck that, you know?
Right.
So like,
No.
if you can, if it's like a deterrent, like if it literally stands in the way for you, then yeah, you should just bypass it. You know, if you can kind of know how to navigate through it, but not like be dependent on it, like not just like think about like contractors, like with tools and stuff like that. Like the point is to like hang a photo or like install electrical in a house. It's not to try three different drills out or to like use three different soldering machines, whatever. I don't know what they use, but like, you know what I mean? It's not
Right.
about that. It's about doing the thing.
Yeah.
So like, don't let things get in the way of you actually doing it. And this is just, I'm speaking for myself, of course, but that's kind of the way I think. And I think with the guitar as well, like all the power to people that love guitars with five dip switches here and then a phase this and a this thing. Cool. Great. You love that? Awesome. Fuck yeah. Um, I'm different. I just want to jump to the thing, you know?
Well, and like you said, I like the comparison of is a tool, right? If you are in a scenario like if you're sitting in on sessions, you need the widest variety of tones available to you, and you need them at a very quick notice. I get that application of having these complex, not complex, but multiple options as far as tones go. You know what I mean?
Of
Like
course. Oh yeah.
unbelievable amount of tones. If I'm up on stage, I don't want to have to worry about that many options. I just want to be able to play and perform. I don't want to be sitting tap dancing on my pedal board. I don't want to freak out because I think my thumb or my pick or something hit a switch and now I'm like, "Oh shit, where do I go from here now?" I just want to get up and do it and play. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with anybody that likes all of the options. Options are great. The variety is the spice of life. But in certain applications, it's just not practical, in my opinion.
Well, it just goes back to finding your voice, right? You just got to
Right.
go with what works for you. And
Yep.
that's like what it's all based on. Perfect example, like you're saying, playing live or whatever. The reason we put that pickup selector, uh, it's because I always hit it
Yeah, I was
playing
going to say
normal
strat.
Strat.
That's a common issue with strats. Is
I
it?
always hit it, and I,
it
like I
I,
don't want to change pickups. They're just always in the way.
yeah, yeah. Well, and some of the best signature gear comes out of problem solving from
Yeah,
artists. Like that. That literally is just. Oh well, this doesn't. This always happens when I do this. I don't want this to do this anymore. So let's
yeah,
move it. That
yeah.
that it's one of those things, and it's nothing that's I guess new by any means, but it's once again it's a problem that you had, it's a problem that you solved with this guitar. And the signature gear side of I mean, it's awesome that you've gotten to that point of your career where you have friends in those places. And I think people look at the music industry at this like huge thing that like it's impervious and you can't get into it. But you know better than me, it's not that big. You just have to do your thing.
Trust the process. Just yeah. Instead of like looking over your shoulder, seeing if anyone notices, just stay true to like
What you do.
sticking to your guns and sticking to your vision. This is a
Yeah.
reminder that I need to tell myself or anyone needs to hear, I don't want to make it sound like I've figured it all out and like I haven't.
Right.
But I learned from my experience and you can see things from you can see things really clearly when you remove yourself from it. And these are things that are important to like remind yourself when you kind of lose track too, because we all lose track. We're all human, right?
Oh yeah.
It's easy to fall into patterns or habits or just like frames of mind where you're just not at your best and you forget why you're doing something or what you're doing or how you're doing it. And easier said than done, of course. I know I sound
For
again
sure.
like I'm a therapist or something like that, but yeah, you just need these little reminders to just keep you on track and stick to being true.
for,
That's all.
for sure. For sure. Well, before we start to kind of wrap this up a little bit,
Yeah.
um, what what's on the horizon for you? What do you have going on that you want to shout out? Let's get everything like plugs and stuff at the end of that as well.
Um, Going on tour, starting in September, basically till the end of December. We're going to be
Nice.
all across the U.S. Couple Canada shows. Yeah, we'll be almost everywhere. There might be some new music coming. If you look
Okay.
at the name
Yep.
of the tour, which is called the Future Present Tense Tour, and if you watch the Fender from the factory floor, you'd probably notice that we played a
Yep.
song called Future Present Tense. If you put two and two together, you might see what's happening. So yeah, a lot of shows coming up, some new music, very exciting. Can't wait to get out there. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm sure you're gonna swing through Nashville, so I'm definitely gonna try to make my way down there and get to see you guys. So looking forward to it.
December 3rd, I think.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
on arielposen.com. But yeah,
yep.
you're in Nashville or you're in Knoxville? Neither.
I'm just north of Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah. So not too far of a drive to either one, but Nashville's
Nice.
definitely closer.
Nice.
So, but yeah, listeners, all of that will be linked down below. So check out all the tour dates. I'll have the link for Ariel's new signature guitar through Fender down there as well. All his socials as well. So go down there, check out the show notes, check out all of the awesome stuff that he has been up to. And for Ariel and myself, we will check you guys next week on Man the Helm Podcast.